Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Thank you for your support on the last video. In the last video, we went over rational expressions and non-permissible values. So this video will be explaining how to simplify rational expressions. Also, if you haven't watched my previous video, I'll link it down below. So make sure you guys go check it out. Okay, let's look at the simple example. 14x plus 2 over 7x plus 1. So when we're asked to simplify rational expressions, you have to consider your numerator and your denominator. So the first step is to always factor out your numerator and your denominator. So let's look at our numerator. We have 14x plus 2. Well, in order to factor this out, we have to find a common factor. Well, both of these can be divided by 2, so we factor out 2. Well, then you look at 14x divided by 2 is 7x. Then 2 divided by 2 is 1. There we go, we're done. Now let's look at our denominator. 7x plus 1. Well, we see that 7x and 1, they both don't have any common factor, so we can't actually factor this out, so it stays as is. Now let's set it back into our expression. 14x plus 2 over 7x plus 1, which equals our 7x plus 1, and this stays as is. Now we see our numerator and our denominator have a common factor, so we can cancel it out and we are left with 2. But wait, this isn't our final answer, because in the last video, as you remember, our denominator 7x plus 1 cannot be equal to 0, because if it was 0, then our whole expression would be undefined. So we have to make sure 7x plus 1 cannot be equal to 0. So now you solve this expression for x. Subtract 1 to the other side. We're left with this. Divide by 7, divide by 7. We are left with x cannot be negative 1 over 7. And there we go. Our final answer is 17x plus 2 over 7x plus 1 equals 2, where x cannot equal negative 1 over 7. And this is our answer. Okay, let's now look at this example. So our denominator and our numerator both are quadratic equations. So like in the previous example, we're going to look separately at the numerator and the denominator. So let's look at our numerator. We have 2x squared minus 2x minus 8. So now we have to factor this out. Well, how do we factor this out? Well, we have to consider two numbers that add to give you negative 2 and multiply to give you negative 8. Well, what are these two numbers? Well, the factors of 8, we know that negative 4 times 2 gives you negative 8. And then if you add this, it also gives you negative 2. So negative 4 and 2 works. These work. So now you can put them in here just like the ones you factored out. And that's how you factor that out. Now let's look at the denominator. So we have x squared minus 9x plus 20. Same thing. You have to consider two numbers that add to give you negative 9 and multiply to give you positive 20. So make sure when you're finding these factors, they're the same. Same two numbers have to add to give you negative 9 and multiply to give you 20. So the factors of 20, well, that's going to be negative 5 and negative 4. They give you positive 20. When you multiply two negative numbers, it gives you a positive number. And same thing here, when you add these, it gives you negative 9. Now we can put it in here. These are our factors. So now let's put it into our equation. Okay, so the numerator was x minus 4 and x plus 2, and the denominator was x minus 5 and x minus 4. So now, look at our numerator and denominator. Well, the numerator also has x minus 4, and so does the denominator. So that's a common factor. We can cancel it out. We're left with x plus 2 over x minus 5. That's our answer. But we have to go back a step. Consider this denominator. If this was equal to 0, then again, our whole expression is undefined. So we have two cases. X minus 5 cannot be equal to 0, and x minus 4 cannot be equal to 0. When we solve for x cannot equal 5, and x cannot equal 4. And our answer is x plus 2, x minus 5. Make sure that you just don't say that x minus 5 cannot be equal to 0, because originally our function was this, and it factored out to x minus 4 times x minus 5, so you have to consider both of the factors for the denominator. That was it for today's video. If you have any questions about the material, you can contact me using the email listed below. Also, make sure to like, subscribe, share, and comment below what you guys would like to see next. You can also follow me at MathBuddy4You on Instagram, where I provide mini tutorials. Thanks for watching.